Hey, it's SaintMarcuz here once again. Here to show off a profile that you can top your locals with. I've changed the deck just a little bit just so that we could focus on winning those game ones harder instead of relying on the dice roll. This deck is super strong, and I really think this is a tier 2 deck with the way it plays. It can take on most of the meta and do a good job. I think it's just outside of Rogue with how strong it is. We're going to go into the Indepth profile where I can tell you what every card does in the deck so that you'll be happy with the results. Alright. We're going to start off with 2 Hamon, Lord of Striking Thunder. He's a level 10 light thunder effect monster. Its summoning condition is sending 3 face-up continuous spells that control the grave. And then if it destroys opponent's monster by battle, it inflicts an extra 1,000 of damage to your opponent after it sends it to the graveyard. Second effect is, while this card's in defense, you can only target this card for defense, and if I have 2 of them on the field in defense, your opponent cannot attack anything on your field, making it very hard to remove cards on your field. Next I'm playing Raviel, Lord of Phantasm. He's a dark level 10 Fiend monster. His summoning condition is by attributing 3 Fiend monsters. You'll never do it in this deck, we'll always be cheating him out. Hamon will be summoning quite a bit by his summoning condition. Each time my opponent normal summons, so if I'm playing against Flunderies, I get a 1,000 1-star Fiend token, Dark token. And then Raviel can use the second effect, which is to tribute a card on the field and then gain the attack of it for the turn. So I can tribute the token and then gain 1,000 attack. Next we're playing the 3 starters of the deck, Dark Beckoning Beast. Dark Beckoning Beast, on summon, you can add a monster that mentions Raviel, Hamon, or Uria. One of the 3 Sacred Beast monsters. You can add any card related to the Sacred Beast monsters or itself, so any card, spell, or trap, really good. And then it's the normal summon of the deck, so the second effect is it allows you to normal summon again another 0/0 Fiend monster. Next we play 2 Dark Summoning Beast. Dark Summoning Beast is a 0/0 Fiend monster. When it's on the field, you can tribute this card from the field, summon one of the Sacred Beasts from your deck, and then it's once per turn. You cannot battle the turn you do that, but you can go battle phase. The second effect is in graveyard, you can banish this card, not once per turn. It doesn't matter how many copies of grave, you can just do it. You can banish this, add a Sacred Beast monster, so one of the level 10s. And then we play the level 1 Chaos Summoning Beast. This card can be normal summoned off of the, normal summoned again off with Dark Beckoning Beast, and then you can tribute this card from the field. So even under skill drain, these both contribute off the field to summon one of the big guys. This one tributes from field, and then summon one of these from deck. Some of these from hand. And then in graveyard, you can banish this card and search out the field spell of the deck, which is Fallen Paradise. We play 1 Fallen Paradise copy. This card is a custom card. This card says your opponent cannot target or destroy your Raviel and Hamon or Uria, your big Sacred Beast monsters, by card effects. The second effect says as long as you control one of these, you can Potic Reed for turn, so you get to draw 2 per turn. Next, you have Opening the Spirit Gates. This is a continuous spell. This is your other starter of the Sacred Beast engine. This card says when activated, you must add. So it's a mandatory add. You have to add a monster related to the Sacred Beast. So any of these cards. Next, you can discard a card from your hand and then target a 0/0 Fiend monster in the graveyard and special it from grave. Sorry, you don't target. Sorry. You can discard this card from graveyard and then special summon 1 0/0 attack Fiend from graveyard, non-targeting, and then summon it to the field. To activate the effect, you must already have a 0/0 Fiend in graveyard when you discard for cost. The last effect says if you control a level 10 monster, which all the Sacred Beast monsters are, you can then add back a continuous spell from grave. So that is the Sacred Beast engine and how they work. I have a couple in the side deck that I'll also explain later on in the video. So next we have the Bystial packages. So we're gonna play 2 Regain, 3 Lubellion, 1 Branded Magnum, 1 Bystial Magnum, 1 Bystial Druid Swarm, and 1 Bystial Saronir. Um, we'll start off by saying that Bystial Magnemut, Druisworm, and Sarnir, their summoning condition is that there's a light or dark monster in the graveyard, either graveyard, target it, then banish it. And if your opponent controls that monster, you can then these cards then become quick effects. So these become live like DD Crows in that aspect if you don't know what Bystials do. Bystial Magnemut says on summon add a dragon monster from your deck or graveyard at the end phase. Druisworm says when it's sent to the graveyard, target one special summon monster on your opponent's side of the field and send it to graveyard. And then Sarnir says when it goes to graveyard, you can dump a branded spell or trap. So I can dump Regain to graveyard if I want to, or I can send a Bystial name like Bystial Lubellion to grave. Bystial Lubellion is the searcher of this engine. You discard this card from your hand in the graveyard. The effect of search, you'll search out one of these Bystials. Most of the time I'm searching Sarnir in game 1s and game 2s. I'm usually searching out the Druisworm to help break boards. And then in hand or graveyard, you can tribute one of your level 6 or higher dark dragon monsters on the field, which the Bystials are, and summon this card from the graveyard. This is not an activated effect, so it will summon from the graveyard by tributing it. On the field, the Lubellion will then, you can activate it once per turn to place a branded spell or trap, continued spell or trap, in the spell or trap zones that you have. Branded Regain is our target for that in the main deck currently. We do have one card in the side deck that we also play that we'll place in here as well. Branded Regain is a really good card. It says if a light or dark card is banished from graveyard, you can then target one of those light or darks that were banished and put it to the bottom of your deck and then draw one card off top of your deck. And then once per copy, if your opponent normal summons a monster or special summons a monster, you can reborn a Bystial monster from your graveyard. So one of these three names or the Synchro monster. You cannot summon the Lubellion off this effect, sadly. That is the branded package. And then the next package I have that synergizes really well with it is the Red Dragon Archfiend package of 3 Resonator, 1 Crimson Gaia. Vision Resonator says if I control a level 5 or higher dark monster in the field, I can special summon it to the field. If a level 5 or higher dark monster is on the field, it doesn't matter if it's mine or the opponent's, I can special summon this card to the field. The second effect says when this card is sent to the graveyard, you can then add a card related to Red Dragon Archfiend, which our target would be Crimson Gaia. The reason why this card synergizes so well is because it's also a tuner monster, so we can do synchro plays in the deck. There's a line where if we open the Vision Resonator and Lubellion, we can make Baron de Flor plus the Bystial Dispater. Crimson Gaia, we only use it for the first effect of the card. It's also a continuous spell, which is very synergistic with Hamon. Once per turn during the main phase, I can add one card related to RDA, Red Dragon Archfiend. These came out of the structure deck. And I can add it from deck or graveyard once per turn during the main phase. That's the only effect we use it for, besides it being a continuous spell. So that is the package for that. Then we play the more expensive package that everyone's starting to really like right now. We're playing the Horus package, so we're playing 3 Glory, which is the starter, and then we're playing the 3 Bricks. Realistically, if these cards are in our hand and we have no way to send them to the graveyard, it's a brick. We're also playing 3 King Sark. So let me explain how the Horus monsters work. If I control a King Sark on the field, once per turn, the Horus monsters can summon from graveyard like Cyber Dragon for summons from hand. So they do not activate to summon. They will just summon. And then the second effect of Glory and Blessing, I'm going to call them by their second names. They have unique second effects. Glory's effect is if this card's in my hand, I can discard one card with it to the graveyard, add me a King Sark to my hand, and then draw a card. So you go -2 in hand to +2 in hand, so you don't lose any cards. The second effect of Blessing is if I control a Horus monster on the field, gain 1200 attack. So if I control all 4, it'll have 4800 attack and defense off its own effect. Then the third effect, which all 4 of them trigger, off of the off the last effect of the cards. They have unique each ones. So if a card leaves my field by opponent's card effect, Glory says I can send one card in the field to the graveyard non-targeting. Blessing says I can draw up to the number of different names on the field. Doesn't matter if they're Horus cards, Bystial cards, whatever they are. I've drawn 5 of this card. It's actually nuts. Guidance says, or Happy says, I can add back 2 cards from the graveyard or banish pile to my hand, or I can shuffle them into the deck if I want to. And then Protection says, protect your Horus monsters from being targeted by card effects or by battle. I think that's pretty great right there. Next we have King Sark, which this in itself is just crazy. Horus monsters I control cannot be destroyed by card effects that do not target them. So if your opponent goes Raigeki or Dark Hole while you have King Sark up, they will not die. And then the second effect is I can send 1 card from my hand to the graveyard as cost, and then send 1 of these from deck to graveyard. I can do that up to 4 times per turn, which is really insane. So you can get all 4 names in graveyard, special them all in the same turn. And then the last effect is once per turn, during damage step, when one of my Horus monsters battle, you can choose to send one of your opponents, the monster that you're battling for your Horus monster. Let me reiterate that. When you attack with, let's say, Protection into Dragoon, you can use the effect of King Sark to send Dragoon to graveyard. And since Dragoon says it cannot be destroyed by card effects, you're not destroying it by card effect, you're sending it to graveyard. So it lets you out cards that are bigger than you for that battle, and you will not take the damage after that, because it'll start at the start of damage step. Alright. Now we're going to talk about the board breakers that we play. We play Triple Talent Tactics, we play 2 Econ, play 2 Droplet, and we play 2 Imperm, say 42 card list. This is our change from our previous video when we introduced the deck profile before. You can check that video out as well. That was more of a going first build, win dice roll, win games. After doing a few of the remote duel regionals, I realized I need to play to go second in game 1 if I want to win the match. So in game 1s, I'm now primarily just going second with the deck so that I can break your board and then take care of the game of card advantage, which this deck excels at. So the reason why I didn't choose a 3 ratio versus a 2 ratio is that when you're drawing cards, you're more likely to draw other cards than you would drawing them if you played them at 3. So it's just to help unclog your deck as you're going through it with the combo. So self-explanatory, these cards are all good. If you don't know what they are, please read them. I don't want to explain these cards because they are staple cards used in the format, and for, I don't know, 2 years now at least. Droplet saw playability last year versus the Cashier format where it was not playable. Next we're going to talk about the extra deck. We play 1 Gustav Max. This is for time, and then another way to make a Zeus play if we want to. We do not play the leave. Gustav lets you detach a card to burn for 2,000. So if your opponent has slow played you in the time, you have an out. Next we play Zeus Sky Thunder, helps you clear boards. We play Sky Crisis, which helps just clear boards and prevents your opponents from activating, prevents both you and your opponent from activating monsters with 3,000 attack. Does not matter the location of the card, it will prevent it from working, like Nibiru in hand or let's say Darkest Diablos Engrave or something like that, trying to trigger, or El Lich Golden Lord. So there's that. For our rank 8s, we play Coach King Giant Trainer. This card came out of the Structure Deck Fire Kings. It was a nice reprint. I think this card is mandatory to play. We also play number 38 Hope Harbinger. This is another rank 8 that we play. This card allows you to negate a spell card or a spell effect on the field. And then you can attach that card as material. A second effect allows you to redirect the attack into your monster, into the number 38 during the battle. Next, we have another card from the Fire King structure deck that is a new addition to the list. Gururek's Attorney, Hyang of Fire Kings. This card is insane. I wish I played this at the previous event I just played, I think like last Saturday. It would have helped me win 2 of my matches very quickly. I didn't know about it. I wish I'd read it sooner. I started playing it after, testing it after. It's so good. The material cost for it is 2 plus level 8 monsters, so you can stack 3 materials underneath it, giving you a 4 material Zeus after you clear the board. On summon of this card, it allows you to dark hole the field, and then you can swing, and then make a Zeus with 4 mats underneath. So, very good addition to the deck. Alright. So that is the Exceed monsters. We'll go on to the Synchro package really quick. We're playing the Bystial Spader, Excel Stardust Dragon, and Baron de Fleur. Self-explanatory. If you don't know what these cards do, please read up on them. I'll go over the Spader because it's considered a Bystial. This allows me to target a lighter dark monster that's banished, summon it to my side of the field. So if your opponent has a lighter dark monster, you can reborn it to your side of the field. And then quick effect, I can target one of the banished cards in mine or theirs. If I use mine, I destroy a card, destroy the card they're using, monster effect they're using, and then if it's their card, I put it back to deck, it will negate the effect. Alright. For our links, we are playing Barricade Board Blocker, SP Little Knight, Skull Dread, Link Spider, Underworld Goddess. For our link monsters, I think mandatory that you must play in this deck has to be these 4 link monsters. Barricade Board Blocker, SP Little Knight, Skull Dread, Salomon Great. Salomon Great is a Sacred Beast card. It allows you to do full combo. I don't care if it says Salomon Great on it. This is a honorary Sacred Beast card. Barricade Board Blocker helps you in the grind game. If they destroy your field spell, you can add it back at end phase for the grind game. SP Little Knight's a very good board breaking card and a format defining card. Next we have Saryuja's Skull Dread that says if you use up to 4 materials, you get all 3 effects. If I use 4 materials, I get to draw 4 cards, place 3 on the bottom. Allows you to dig through your deck to find combo pieces that you need. Second effect allows you to special summon a card once per turn from my hand, just 1 monster, doesn't matter what level it is. And then the second effect is a mandatory effect. If a monster is summoned to a zone it points to, it will trigger to gain 300 attack and defense for your monsters. We play Link Spider and Underworld Goddess. Link Spider is for when we get Nibiru. It helps us end on Little Knight because Little Knight requires 2 effect monsters. And then Underworld Goddess is to clear tower or problematic cards that we don't want to deal with. And since we're playing the Horus package, it makes it very easy to summon 4 monsters a turn. We'll go to the side deck. We'll start off with Branded Beast. Branded Beast says that if we control a Bystial name, we contribute 1 dragon monster during the main phase, target 1 card my opponent controls and destroy it, and then during the end phase, you can target 1 branded continuous spell or trap in graveyard, place it face up on the field. I do not need to control a Bystial name for that. For the Sacred Beast side deck cards, I am playing 3 Awakening Spirit Gates, 1 Cerulean Skyfire. Awakening of the Sacred Beast is a really good card. This is a win con when going first, and that is why I choose to play it, is because it is a win con going first. And it gets effects based on the different names I control on the field. So if I control 2 names in the field, I get up to 2 of the effects. If I control the third, Uriah. If I control Uriah in the field, I get the third effect. But it says if I control 1, I get the effect to gain life points every time my opponent normals or special summons. If I control 2, it negates the activated effects of my opponent's monsters, which is a really insane card. So if my opponent activates a monster effect on the field, which this is where this card works, is while the monster had activated its effect on the field, it will negate it. So even if you book a Moon, Droplet, or Econ it, it will still result negated. If I control 3, it's Defissure, monsters sent to graveyard banished instead, your opponent controls. And then the last effect is once per turn, like the continuous spell, I can add back a continuous trap from graveyard to my hand. So that is the small package I put in the side deck. Last one is Cerulean Skyfire. Cerulean Skyfire says if I control a face-up Hamon and attack, I can negate any spell or trap card in the game on resolution by turning a Hamon in defense. Second effect is if I can use face down spells to summon Hamon by its procedure instead of sending 3 continuous spells. And then the third effect says, if a Sacred Beast monster leaves the field, I take no battle damage for the rest of the turn. Or I take no damage for the rest of the turn. I take no damage for the rest of the turn. Next, we have the rest of our side deck. I have 4 spots that are flex spots. I have 3 that need to be played. Droll to stop combo decks, and Cyclone is to stop spell card decks, or like Runic or Centurion. You hit the field spell, they hurt, they cry. My 4 flex spots are 2 Book of Eclipse, 1 Econ, 1 Droplet. I have it in here to board break, but I might change this to like Chaos Hunter or something. Book of Eclipse is good against Purely. I don't really have a lot of outs to Purely, besides like Eclipse in the deck that I could think of. Econ works in situations, but it really depends on the amount of materials they have. I would rather Book Eclipse them so they couldn't get any draws. And that is the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the deck. I'll do a combo video after this. I'll upload this for y'all. And I hope you enjoyed everything. I hope you enjoy the content. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment how you feel, and I hope you talk to your locals with this deck.